housing! Save our housing!
Save our housing! No somos bien, somos millones, cuéntanos bien. No somos uno, no somos 100, somos millones, cuéntanos bien.
Thank you so much for those words. Hold on to every word that was just shared. It is critical. So many families and children are vulnerable to these landlords and the evil doing of capitalism. So glad that was named. Before we get to our next speaker, I just want to share. I saw firsthand as well, on the other end, how critical the trauma was for years before organizing people directly impacted by homelessness. I served as a case manager in a local family shelter in the community I lived in. And I saw day in and day out, intake after intake, mothers crying, families crying, confused and lost, because there was no reason given about why they were in a new place, why they were shipped from one borough to the next, why their world was flipped upside down by illegal practices, by cruel and heartless evictions. Every single day, our families are suffering all across the state of New York. We need the protection of good cause eviction. And we need it now. Woo! And if you can't look in the face of a child and explain to them why in one of the richest cities in the nation and in the globe, they can't have a secure, safe, permanent home, we are failing. We are failing. It is a policy failure. Good cause eviction can address that now. Woo. And we are calling on our state leadership and this governor to do that.
Now.
And up next, I am going to call on Susan from Democratic Socialists of America to join us and share her piece. Let's give it up.
Hi everyone, my name is Susan Kang. I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. I'm also a proud mother of 2 public school children who aren't here today, and it's better for all of us that they're not here. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about what politicians do on Mother's Day. What do? They put out like a graphic with like some flowers, and they honor mothers. They say, we honor the mothers. We love mothers. And we know that Governor Hochul is going to put one of these graphics out on Twitter or Instagram. And it's going to mean very little, because mothers don't want to be honored. We don't want to be told, oh, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for all that you do. We want people who have power to provide the policies that make it possible for us to raise our children in a way that's humane, right? So I have to always worry about college costs. I have to worry about healthcare costs. And so many mothers across the state have to worry about getting evicted. Under COVID, people who were in rent-stabilized apartments didn't get rent increases because there was an understanding that during COVID, there was a pandemic, things had to be a little bit more humane. Well, guess what? The pandemic's not over. And all of the pressures that parents face raising our children right now, that's not over either. And so it's not just people who have rent-stabilized apartments who deserve to have protections during these times. It's everybody. My children go to public schools in New York City, and the speaker earlier said 10% public school students in the DOE are either homeless or facing housing insecurity.
That ain't right.
I don't want to hear politicians saying, I care about learning loss. I care about education for our young people. If they're not doing something to ensure that they are securely housed. So I just want to tell a little story about when my older son was small enough to be on my chest. So I saw a little baby, but maybe the baby's gone. So when I was a new mother, I was bewildered. I was sleep deprived. I was going crazy because that's my personality. And I didn't know what I was doing. But what I did know was that it was really unfortunate unfortunate looking peeling paint on my pre-war brownstone apartment building in Brooklyn. So I said to my landlord, could you do something about like the peeling, shining paint on the radiators? Because my infant son doesn't move around much yet, but pretty soon he'll be crawling and walking. And she said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna not renew your lease. So I've been living in that apartment for 4 years now, and now I was a new mom on parental leave, going crazy, breastfeeding, never sleeping, and then I had to find a new place to live. And with good cause eviction, no one will have to go through that again.
Right.
Because I was a really good tenant. I paid my rent on time. I was like polite and stuff. I never complained about the fact that heat never came on. But because my child was maybe going to ingest lead paint chips, I was not going to get my lease renewed, and that is an injustice that parents all over New York State and all over New York City have to face every day. It's something that Governor Hochul can do something about, and she can do something about it today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing that in your words. She hit on something really important. Mothers. There's something about the protection of a mother. That natural instinct to protect. This coming Mother's Day, when the threat of rent hikes is at an all-time high all across the state, there are mothers looking at their children and families and wondering how they are going to protect them from an eviction. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
Can you imagine being a mom and not knowing what the future holds when all you want to do is protect your family and your children and make sure that they are safe? That includes a roof over their heads. That includes stability. That includes safety mentally and emotionally. And that's why we say housing is health care. And when you rip away the safety net of secure housing, you are tearing and ripping at the health of a family and a community. Because as we know with the statistics, women are often the breadwinners and caretakers of their families. And oftentimes, as we've seen during this pandemic, the first responders and first line workers. So what are we doing if we're talking about the health of an economy if we cannot even secure the safety of housing in the state of New York?
Right.
Where mothers and families all across this state are falling victim to the threats of eviction.
That's right.
That's not a health first model. That is not a people-centered model. And so we are really calling mother to mother, Kathy Hochul, I am calling on you.
I'm calling you
to pass good cause eviction now.
You can do it, baby.
Pass it now. If you care about economics, if you care about health care, if you care about the recovery of this state, if you care about the children, if you care about the level of education, if you care about their future, pass good cause eviction now. And with that being said, I'm going to call up Michelle from Community Voices Heard. Please welcome Michelle as she joins us.
I'm right here. Hello, I'm Michelle from Community Voices Heard. I live in Manhattan. Now I'm here to represent any and everybody that's got an apartment, got a house, and being evicted. We're still in the pandemic, as you can see. I got my mask on. I'm not taking it off until I'm quite sure. We don't want to add to the homelessness. We want to stay in our community. We don't want to go nowhere else. We're happy where we at. Help us. By the way, happy Mother's Day, Miss Governor. Please help us.
Help us.
We need help. We're asking you. You're going to lose a lot of people. Okay, doing this. You're going to lose a lot of people. I'm just here. I'm not even asking. Just let me beg you a little bit. All right? Just let me beg you. Hear us out. We need our place. Help us out. I'm a grandmother. I love my baby. I don't want to be somewhere far away from him. I want to be right here. I want to be safe. Transportation, everything is right here. Don't make me move. Don't let them put me out, please. Please don't let them put me out. I'm here for a good cause. Just take a look. Take a look at how many people is here and how many people is going to come. We need our housing. People need to be safe and secure. Have empathy and sympathy for us. You touched our shoulder and you asked us to vote for you. Now we voted for you. You giving us out your butt to kiss? Come on. That's not right.
All right.
Help us out here. We begging you. We out in the rain. Okay? We out in the rain. And once again, I'm begging you. We begging you. I represent all these people out here. And the other ones that can't come because they on at work. And the other ones that's stressed out because they in the hospital. And the other one that's having an anxiety attack because they don't know where they're going to go. We don't want to add to the homeless population. Adam is trying to clean it up. Where are we going to add to it? Help us out, please. We asking you, please help us out. No cause. No cause. Don't just throw us out for no reason. It's not right. Treat us nice. Like I said, you tapped us on the shoulder and told us to vote for you. We did. Now, you're up there and you're going to give us your butt to kiss? That's not right.
All right.
I'm Michelle. Community voice is heard.
Woo! Do the right thing.
Fight, fight, fight. Housing is a human right. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
Housing is a human right.
Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
Housing
It's a human right. Fight, fight, fight.
Housing is a human right. Thank you so much for those words, Sister Michelle.
Thank you, darling.
You know, homelessness. Without good cause eviction legislation being passed, that's what so many people are facing, the reality of homelessness. 92,000 plus, because we're not counting our community members and family on the streets or doubled up. But 92,000 individuals experiencing homelessness across the state of New York.
That ain't right.
It's not right.
And it ain't no one solution to ending homelessness. We have to tackle it on all fronts. We have to ensure that we are keeping people housed. We have to ensure that we are getting people housed. And we need our leadership to be more concerned about the power of the people instead of the power of their position.
Thank you.
And when you begin to put the power of your position over the power of the people, you may not last long. And that's the reality. We just want to remind you of that, Governor Hochul. And that is why we are imploring you to do the right thing and pass this legislation now. Now. Mother to mother. We ask you to pass this now. That being said, we ask that you welcome up from legal aid, Judith. Thank you.
So my name is Judith Goldner. I'm with the Legal Aid Society. I'm also a mother of 3 children, and I'm calling on the governor today to not let another Mother's Day go by with my clients and their families, these moms and their kids getting evicted, entering shelter because we don't have good cause eviction. What would good cause do? It means a landlord can only evict you for a good reason, as opposed to they just don't wake up one day and they don't like you. Or what we see all the time, our clients come to us and says, I don't have heat, I don't have hot water, I have lead paint, what do I do? And we have to tell them, if you complain, your landlord is going to evict you.
That ain't
It's
right.
not right.
That ain't right.
Good cause would stop that from happening and would also stop the completely crazy rent increases we're Rent Guidelines Board authorized very high rent increases for rent-regulated tenants, and that's terrible. But it's way worse for folks in unregulated units who are seeing increases 10%, 20%, 50%, sometimes 100%. That's not right. Kathy Hochul, pass good cause.
Pass good cause. Kathy Hochul. Pass good cause. Kathy Hochul. Pass good cause.
Thank you so much for that, Judith. And thank you for your fearless advocacy in defense of so many families that are facing this issue, the lack of protection that we have across this state. And with that being said, I want you to welcome up Cynthia Norris from NYCC. Thank you. What do we want?
Good cause.
What do we want?
Now.
What do we want it?
Good cause.
What do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Good cause.
What do we want?
Now.
Good cause now. Right.
Good cause now.
Thank you. I am Cynthia Norris. I'm here with NYCC. I am a parent too. So I come to you, Kathy Hochul, parent to parent. Pass good cause now. We need it now. Tenants right now are working check to check. They one check away from being homeless, out on the street, having to think about whether they should put money on the rent or food on the table. The pantry lines are longer than we can think. We can't stay on these lines any longer. It's time that we pass good cause now. Every time I hear like New York is in the lead, New York is lead by example. Well, let's lead by example. We need stronger protections. Or they always say New York has more protections than other states. Well, why folks are being evicted? Why folks are thinking about whether they should feed their kids or pay their rent? And I'm coming to you not only for me, I'm coming to you as a parent, but I'm coming to you for tenants across the state. That we need help today. Inflation is going crazy. Rents are going up. Landlords are kicking folks out daily. Parents are having to tell their kids, well, we're going to have to live out on the street if there's no more beds. That ain't right. This is New York, home of the dreams, where everybody want to come. But who want to come where they got to work paycheck to paycheck and tell their kid that they got to live out on the street, or tell their kid that they got to live in a shelter? We need stronger protection so that we won't have to live while looking over our back at a landlord's gonna knock on our door rather than kick us out. It's time. That should be our Mother's Day gift that you give to us, Kathy. Stronger protections for tenants, not just something that's gonna cope us and keep us warm for a month or two. We need something for the future. My kids, our kids are the future. We need something that's going to set in stone for them later. They need a stepping stone to make it better for their kids, their grandkids. So I tell you, the Rent Guideline Board is voting. They want 6%. We can't even pay the last percent that was there from before.
No, that's right.
They must have forgot that we're still in this pandemic. The pandemic is not over.
Not over.
We're still living here. Folks are still not at a job. Folks are still not working at the jobs that they were working before. They found new jobs. New jobs come with less pay. Guess what? They still gotta pay for childcare. They still gotta pay for rent. We're not saying that we want to live rent free. We're saying that we want a protection that we can fight in court. Tenants need to have the right to fight to stay in their home. We need to have a voice for ourselves. Why we can't? Listen, I have a 6-year-old, and I don't know how if I can explain to him that we gotta be on the street. Tenants explaining this to these kids. They still gotta go to school. So they go into school with not happy. They fell into school because it's hurting at home. It starts from home. My mother always told me that. Growing up, it starts at home. So if we can't keep our kids happy at home, when they go to school and they fail it, and they figure out why the system is bad, it's because Kathy Hochul not passing real laws. We getting watered down bills. where we getting pushed out? Come on now.
Do the right
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
That's good God.
A home for Mother's Day. A home for Mother's Day. A permanent home for Mother's Day. No fear of evictions. No fear of predatory landlords. As the sister just said, here in New York State, we can do anything we want. It's truly a matter of political will. I'm gonna share something with you. One of our leaders upstate, Vocal, like I said, is a statewide organization, and I'm sure she won't mind. One of our leaders has had years of housing insecurity. She's a fearless mother who has raised her children for some part as someone experiencing homelessness. Finally got an apartment, renting from a landlord. And again, fearless. This is a woman who takes care and homeschools her kids with special needs. Called me not too long ago, about a month, and said, I just thought I found my grounding. I'm here. I'm stable with my children. I homeschool them. They're excelling despite what they said about their disabilities. They're excelling in their education. I'm excelling in my mental health with my service animals. The landlord told me, we have to leave.
Right.
And here I am, downstate, on the phone with her. And I remember why it is I do what I do. I remember why we're here in the rain.
In the rain.
On Mother's Day, imploring to another mother, a grandmother, how do I explain to Crystal that some people are protected and others are not?
That ain't right. That ain't right.
Why is that fair?
That ain't right.
Why? I wouldn't dare tell her to move down here into this shelter system that shouldn't even exist. We need to ensure that our families are secure and housed. She has no protection for her children.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
She has no protection. Her mental health, her housing, her children's mental health and stability, their education, everything is being threatened at this moment.
That ain't right.
Because days left to the legislation session, we don't have the political will to ensure that good cause eviction is passed immediately.
That's it now. That's it now. That's it now.
Seriously, think about that. When we're talking about families and mothers on Mother's Day, this is more than just a show. We are talking about our future, the societal future, the health of a community, to ensure that the caretakers, the breadwinners, the first responders can protect their families and children.
Right.
Sensible policy should supersede political failure and a lack of political will. And with that being said, I'm going to call on another one of our leaders, Althea Matthews from Vocal New York.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. My name is Althea Matthews. I'm one of the leaders of the Homeless Union. Governor Hochul, it's not like she can't, but she won't pass this bill. Just like she won't, like she can't and won't pass the HAVP bill. That will keep people in their homes, and the good cause eviction will prevent them from going into the shelter.
That's right.
This bill is very important, even with the suites that we have in the safe haven, congregate settings. The homeless is a disaster. The system is a disaster.
Yes.
This is very important
bill that needs to be passed like now. We have like 12, 13 more days in session. And this bill is critical. We have the rent guideline board want to increase the rent. We have too many homeless people right now.
Already.
And if they rent increases, it's going to be more homeless people.
It's gonna be more.
So again, good cause eviction is important to prevent people from becoming into the shelter system. This bill is critical like yesterday. And it's sad. And I keep saying it. And I'm going to keep saying it until they prove me wrong. This homeless crisis is a business. And please prove me wrong. Because there's no way we have over 15,000 children in the shelter system, not mentioned in the streets. That's not counted for. The Department of Education, they know the detrimental health that these children go through, the trauma. There's no reason why we can't do this. There's no reason why. And it's sad, all your legislation, y'all come here when you're in your primary and vote about homeless. We gonna do this. That's always somebody's platform, the homeless. Health care, but this is a health care and this is a homeless crisis.
That's right.
Why don't you back up what you campaign for? You're not doing your job, you need to go. We can do the job. We can do the job. We have controllers who's supposed to know how to count. We have this